Welcome everybody to Early Wilson Stadium. Sorry, we were a little bit late. A very quick top of the first inning. We'll recap here. Cameron Jabara on the mound for the Rebels, and he went 1-2-3, struck out Luke Shadid to start the game. Then Andy Shadid grounded out to Bryson Stott, a 6-3 put out, and then Dan Bolt flied out to left field, and Robbins put that one away. So a very quick 1-2-3 inning. We apologize for coming on a little bit late, but should be good the rest of the evening. We'll set the lineups and all that kind of fun stuff here. In fact, for the Rebels, it'll be Stott, Bryson Stott, Dylan Johnson, Jack Thomas Wold, Adarian Williams, Max Smith, Grant Robbins, Duke Pahukoa, Jacob Godman, and James Gamble. And as we said, Cameron Jabara on the bump for the Rebels. They're taking on Bradley, the Bradley Braves out of the Missouri Valley Conference. They come in 6-3 on the year. And you're watching Mitch Jansen do his warm-up pitches. Bottom of the first. No runs, no hits for Bradley in the first. And we'll set the Bradley Braves lineup defensively as we have time here. But first, Bryson Stott will lead off for the Rebels. The shortstop, number 10, Bryson Stott. So Stott batting .354 on the year. And he'll step in against Mitch Jansen, the senior, who comes in with a 3.09 ERA. No record on the year yet. He has gone 11 2/3 of an inning in that first one. A little out of the strike zone. 1-0 the count. And the next pitch to Stott, and then one right down the pipe. So it goes to 1-1. The Braves in the outfield from left to right. Eli Rollinson in left field. Andy Shadid, the senior, in center, and Dan Bolt in right field. And the 1-1 and a big swing, and that one is fouled off. 1-2 the count. First of a 3-game set tomorrow at 2:05, Sunday at 1:05. So if you're in the area, come on down. If it's your first time at Early Wilson this year, you'll see some changes. Brand new scoreboard out in left field. That one way outside. 2-2 the count. The Bruce Lane scoreboard really adding to the ambiance and the fan experience here. And of course, Smokin' Sam's is always here, so you can grab lunch or dinner depending on game time start. Rebels have 5 games left in this homestand. They're 1-0 so far, and that one will be fouled off. Around the infield for the Braves at third, Brendan Doherty. Luke Shadid at short, Nick McMurray at second, and Nick Anderson at first. Keaton Rice, the sophomore, catching for the Bradley Braves. And the 2-2, and that one a big swing and a miss. Dylan Johnson steps in. Dylan batting .265 on the young year. 4 RBI. He'll take the first one for a strike. 0-1 the count. Two and one the count. And the count goes to 3-1. And the 3-1 to Johnson, and that one is popped up. Looks to be in fair territory. The first baseman, Anderson, underneath it, makes it for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Jack Thomas Wold. Wolf betting 232. He has a home run and 3 RBI. Hit his first home run on the midweek game against the Roadrunners of Bakersfield. So Wold will step in. And the first pitch down for a ball. 1-0 the count. Game time temperature of 53 degrees. 9-mile-an-hour wind out of the southwest. Should be no problem with precipitation. There was a little bit earlier today, but all the clouds have cleared out. Should get in the baseball game. No problem here. 2-0 the count. And the 2-0 pitch, and that one is chopped foul at the plate. 2-1 the count. And the 2-1 pitch is just outside. 3-1 the count. Mitch Jansen, as I said, the senior out of Princeville, Illinois, Princeville High School. And the 3-1 to Wold, and that one is hammered out to center field, and that one will fall in for a single. So that's the first hit of the game. It belongs to the Rebels in the bottom of the first. And Darian Williams, a good batter to have right now, batting cleanup, batting .388 on the year with 1 home run and leading the Rebels with 12 RBI. Williams from right here in Las Vegas out of Rancho High School. He'll take the first one in for a strike. And that'll do it. That'll end the first. We'll come back, top of the second, all tied up, 0-0 Friday Night Baseball. Live from Early Wilson. The DH, Connor O'Brien, steps in, top of the second. Scoreless game here at Early Wilson. We'll set the Rebels defensively here after Jabara's first pitch. And that one will be in for a strike. Around the outfield, left to right. Grant Robbins in left, James Gamble in center, and Max Smith, the senior, in right. Jabara sets and delivers to O'Brien, and that one outside. 1-1 the count. Around the infield, Dylan Johnson at third, Bryson Stott at short, Darian Williams at second, and Jack Thomas Wold at first. Jacob Godman is the battery mate, and that one will be chopped down to Williams. Gets over to it, gets up, and throws over to Wold for the first out of the inning.
Third baseman, number 26, Doherty.
Brendan Doherty steps in, the junior third baseman, batting .211 on the year. Bradley has played a total of 9 games. Doherty has started all 9 of those over at third. And Jabara's outside with that, 1-1 the count. 6:21 here in Las Vegas, in case you're watching from a different time zone. Weather should cooperate all weekend long for baseball. And 1-1 outside. Elvis Dominguez, the head coach of the Bradley Braves of the Missouri Valley Conference. And the 2-1 pitch, and that one is hammered foul out of play. The count will go to 2-2. Of course, being from Peoria, Illinois, all their games so far this year on the road. They've had a couple rained out at Belmont and Lipscomb. And they've done very well considering all their games on the road. 6-3. And that one, swing and a miss. Think that was out of the strike zone, but that is a swinging strike for the second out of the inning.
The catcher, number 15,
Keaton Rice, the catcher, batting .308 on the year. There's a couple doubles. The left-hander steps in against Jabara, and the first pitch, and that one is a big swing and a miss. And the 0-1, and that one down out of the strike zone, 1-1 the count. And the 1-1, and that one fouled off, 1-2 the count. Gamble in center field, as you can see, going from right center over to the other side with 2 strikes to left center. And that one inside, 2-2 the count. And that one, no, just misses. Wow, that was close. 3-2. I think a couple of the Rebels in the outfield that might have gone the other way and took a hop or two towards the Rebel dugout, but it is now a full count. And the 3-2, and a big swing and a miss. So good work in the first 2 innings by Jabara, and we'll go to the bottom of the second. Scoreless, live from Early Wilson. And the bottom of the second, it'll be Smith, Robbins, and Pahukoa for the Rebels. Mitch Jansen, the pitcher, 18 pitches to get out of the first scoreless. He did give up one hit so far, that to Jack Thomas Wold. Max Smith will step in. And the first pitch to Smith, big swing and a miss. Smith batting .288 on the year. He does have 2 home runs and 7 RBI. And the 0-1 to Smith, that one misses. 1-1 the count. Rebels winners of 3 out of the last 4. They are 2-3 in Mountain West play. And that one will be good play by Anderson, and he'll do it himself for the first out of the inning. Rebels went on the road and took 2 out of 3 in Fresno. And now they will not play again against a Mountain West team until March 15th, when they go on the road to take on San Jose that weekend. So Grant Robbins steps in. Robbins playing some good defense out there in left field, and he'll take the first one in for a strike. 0-1 the count. He's batting .286 on the year. There's a couple triples and a couple doubles. And that one outside, 1-1 the count. And the 1-1, and that one will be to the second baseman. McMurray tosses over to Anderson for the second out of the inning. So right now, a pitcher's duel, still early here on a Friday night. Of course, Friday night pitchers, usually your number ones in college. So the DH today, Duke Pahukoa, steps in. Pahukoa, 200 on the young year, the freshman. Another Las Vegan here. Durango High School. A lot of local talent here on the Rebels. And the 0-1, and that one, a little something off of that one, stays high and tight. 1-1 the count. One ball, one strike, and that one is in there for a strike. 1-2 the count. And the 1-2, and that one is hammered out to right field. Bolt comes over and makes the catch right around knee level for the third out of the inning. That'll do it. Scoreless going to the top of the third. Live from Early Wilson. Eli Rollinson will lead it off. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for the Braves. Eli batting 161 on the year. He steps in against Jabara, and the first pitch, that one in for a strike. 0-1 the count. Jabara, the junior college transfer out of Orange County. Cameron is a junior. And the next pitch, and that one is fouled off. 0-2 the count. Once again, this is the first of a 3-game set. Tomorrow, 2:05 start. So the sun will be out. And Sunday's game, a 1:05. And the 0-2, and that one a little bit overthrown and outside. 1-2 the count. And that one is fouled off. Jabara right now is sitting at about 27 pitches. Top of the third, no score. And the 1-2, and that one will be chopped down over the head of Johnson, and that is the first hit of the day or night for the Bradley Braves. Just out of the reach of Dylan over at third.
First baseman, number 22, Nick Anderson.
We'll bring up Nick Anderson, batting .071 on the young year. He only has 14 at-bats, 1 hit. And Rebels looking for perhaps a bunt here. But first the ball will be changed up. So Johnson, we'll see how much farther he comes in. Jack Thomas Wold, we'll see if he crashes down. So Anderson steps in. And he is not bunting, and he pops this one out to right field. Not too bad for Max Smith. He'll put that one away for the first out of the inning. So an unproductive out for the Braves there. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Nick McMurray, the second baseman. Senior's hitting .318 on the year and has 2 RBI. He's looking down. You would not think a bunt would be in order with 1 out now when they didn't with no outs, but we'll see. And no bunt is in order, and that one down and away. 1-0 the count. Johnson over at third in just in case, guarding against it. Gamble well over into left center field. Big gap. They are not expecting McMurray to pull here, and that one in for a strike. In fact, on a left-handed hitter, they are really... The space between Gamble and Smith is quite large. And Smith well off the line and right. And the 1-1, and that one just outside. 2-1 the count. Rollinson takes the lead. Now he shows bunt. Ooh, good thing that was foul. Godman got a piece of that and kind of went off of him. But that is the second strike. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. That should take any thought of a bunt out. And you would probably see Johnson take another step or 2 back at third base, which he's now a little bit behind. Kind of surprised he's not a few steps even farther back. Rollinson, pretty good lead at first, and this one is fouled off. The count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. Scoreless here. Each team has 1 hit. Jabara sets and delivers, and that one is lifted out into left center field. And actually, they were playing him just perfectly. It'll be the left fielder Robbins getting it and bringing it back in. So good scouting by the Rebels on the defensive side of the ball with positioning. And there are now 2 outs. That'll turn the batting, though, order back over to the top. And Luke Shadid, who struck out in the first, will come up for his second appearance, the junior. Luke out of Peoria, Illinois, Notre Dame High School, and he'll take this first one and foul it off 0-1, the count. So Luke, the junior, and his brother, Andy, the senior. Local kids for Bradley, so they also smart, need to recruit that local talent. Of course, there's so much talent in Las Vegas right now, a hotbed for baseball, that you'll see Vegas players scattered all over rosters here on the West. In fact, many have come in as visiting players here already this year. And the 0-1, and that one is chopped foul, 0-2. No Vegas players on the Bradley Braves. They do have a San Diego player, Connor O'Brien. But most in the Midwest. And the 0-2, and that one, no. 1-2 the count. Ray Leibel, the home plate umpire at first, John Wolf, and Tom Chandler over at second right now, but he's listed as a third base. That one fouled off. Of course, right now, 3 umpires. I had heard rumors that the Mountain West is going to 4 this year. So, yep, so 4 umpires, but this is not a conference game. So back to what we've seen for many years here at Early Wilson, 3 umpires. So Chandler, the third base umpire right now with the runner on first, playing or positioned at second. There goes the runner, and that one in for a strike. In fact, that's strike 3, so Godman doesn't even have to throw down. That is the third out. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Scoreless, live from Early Wilson. Jacob Godman will start it off here at the bottom of the third. Godman batting .333 on the year, and he'll take the first one and foul it off 0-1 the count. Jacob, another freshman here on the club. Future looks bright for Rebel baseball. And you can and the 0-1, that one outside, 1-1 the count. Jacob from Palo Verde High School, right here in Las Vegas, and that one bounced up to the plate, 2-1 the count. Mitch Jansen's pitch count sitting right around 29 pitches. And the 2-1, and that one misses. 3-1 the count. Sorry, that misses, so 3-1 the count. The 3-1 to Godman, and that one is in for a strike, so the count will go full. Godman, Gamble, and Stott due up here in the bottom of the third. Scoreless game. Each team has one hit, no errors yet, and no runs. And that one chopped down to Doherty, and he throws it over to Anderson. And a little bit of excitement there, but that is the first out of the inning.
Center fielder, number 1, James Gamble.
And James Gamble steps in. Another freshman, batting .288. Gamble out of Greenway High School in Phoenix, Arizona. And he shows bunt, and he bunts in the air, and did he catch it? Yes, he did. Good play coming off the mound by Jansen, because that was the only way they were going to get Gamble. Looks like Stolte out there to question whether it was a catch. From my vantage point, I thought it was a catch. Yeah, they're seeing if I think that will not count as a visit, I believe, because they're seeing if he maybe twisted his arm a little bit making that catch. So Stolte, Coach Stan Stolte out there just checking to make sure that was a catch. Like I said, I thought it was a catch. Looked like he turned the glove right and kept it off the ground. Bryson Stott due up here with 2 outs, bottom of the third. This could be the most subdued talk to an umpire I've seen in my life. Right. You enjoying Vegas right now? Yeah, glad. Make sure you try out that big chicken over there on Paradise. It's pretty good. All right, we'll go back. And, of course, go try Farm Basket up on Charleston, a great supporter of Rebel Baseball. Bryson Stott now steps in. Stott struck out in his one and only appearance so far in the game, and he'll take this one for the first pitch, a ball, 1-0 the count. And the 1-0, and that one is hammered out to center field. Back goes Shedded a few steps, but he puts it away. So through 3, we are scoreless still. Bradley versus the Rebels, live from Early Wilson. Andy Shattuck, the center fielder, will lead it off in the 4th inning. Pitch count for Cameron Jabara right around 41, or at 41. And the first pitch, and that one is hammered out to Williams for a quick 1 pitch, 1 out. Whatever scouting so far they've done, Rebels have put the outfielders and the infielders in perfect position. So Dan Bolt, who flied out to Grant Robbins in his one and only at bat back in the 1st. And the first pitch, and that one in for a strike. 0-1 the count. Jabara already with 4 Ks on the day. He came into this game with 15, so 19 so far on the young season. And the 0-1, and that one a little bit inside. 1-1 the count. And the 1-1, and that one is hammered out to right field for the second hit for the Braves of the evening. And the first one for Bolt.
Designated hitter, Connor O'Brien.
So Connor O'Brien, the DH freshman out of San Diego, will step in with 1 out and 1 on. And that one in for a strike. It's always amazing to see fans from other cities come in here because there are not a lot of baseball collegiate stadiums around the country that have beer, but Early Wilson is one, and when the visiting fans come here, some are very happy to see that. And the 0-1, and that one in for a strike. 0-2. O'Brien grounded out in the 2nd inning. And Jabara would love for that to happen again here and perhaps get out of here with 2. Instead, it'll be that was fouled off, so that is not a play. 0-2 the count remains. So the count remains 0-2, 1 out. Bolt on first. Bolt has not attempted a stolen base, so the last name of Bolt, you would expect him to be very fast. Big swing and a miss, and that'll be the 2nd out of the inning. That'll bring up Doherty. Doherty struck out in the 2nd. And the first pitch, and that one is, called outside. 1-0 the count. And the 1-0, and that one, boy, that one, I will say this, that's consistent. That's the exact same spot, and it was called a ball last time, so yeah, you have to give the umpire that. He is consistent right now. Both of those looked right there. I'm basically right now right behind home plate, and the 2-0, and that one was a little bit farther outside, so that one 3-0. Those first 2 pitches did not miss by much. That one a little bit farther outside. 3-0 the count. So Jabara in danger of walking his first batter. Instead, he comes right back in and pumps that in for a strike. Doherty batting 211 and Rice batting 308 on deck. So I'm sure Jabara would love to make this the deciding batter of the inning. And that one fouled off, so now the count full. That will mean that Bolt at first will be heading off. Yeah, I was trying to get something clever there with Usain Bolt, but we'll just say bolting off the bag. I'll steal that one from Mr. Dick Calvert. And there goes Bolt, and that one is hammered out to center. Back goes Gamble, and that will go over his head. That'll be the first run of the night, as that will be a double. And Bolt comes on home to score that first run and a double for Doherty. We're just cleaning the screen. Do not think that there is some crazy thing going on here.
The catcher, Keaton Rice.
So the Braves strike first here. 1 run, 3 hits in the top of the 4th, and that'll bring up Keaton Rice, the catcher. There's still now a runner at second in Doherty. And the first pitch, that one will be hammered off foul, 0-1 the count. And Rice steps out. And the 0-1, and that one in there for a strike, 0-2 the count. So Jabara 1 strike away from limiting the damage to 1 run. Doherty takes the lead off a second. That one is a strikeout, and that is the 6th strikeout of the game for Jabara. But the Braves do put up 1-0 over the Rebels. Live from Early Wilson. Dylan Johnson will step in for the Rebels. It'll be Johnson, Wold, and Williams. Rebels have 1 hit on the day, no runs. They trail now for the first time, 1-0. Mitch Jansen allowing only 1 hit so far, and that one is 2-0 the count. Jansen has not allowed a walk yet. Let's see what Dylan does on a 2-0, and that one is in there for a strike. 2-1 the count. That one low, so 3-1 the count. Rebels looking to get base runners anyway. They've only had one hit so far, one runner. And that would be the on-deck batter, Jack Thomas Wold, with that one hit. And the 3-1, and this one will be grounded out to second. McMurray does take, wow, actually Jansen had to go over and cover, and McMurray led him over to the base well. But Jansen had to stretch out that glove a little bit more than he probably would have liked. So Jack Thomas Wold will now step in. Wold, the only one who has a hit so far. That was a single to center field back in the first inning. See if Wold can make it 2 for 2 here. Jansen sets and delivers, and that one high. 1-0 the count. So Jansen yet to give up a walk. He's fallen behind a few batters, but he's always been able to recover. And that one, oh, well, Wold was trying to send a souvenir out to the 335 club there and tie up the game, but he came up empty, so 1-1 the count. Wold did hit his first home run of the season last game against Bakersfield. And the 1-1 to Wold, and that one is fouled off to the left. That was well foul, but if that had somehow stayed fair, the left fielder Rollinson well off the line, Wold would have easily had extra bases. And the 1-2, and that one is slow, slow, and slower, and high, high, and higher, so 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rebel fans looking for something to cheer about. And the 2-2, and that one is fouled off down the left field line. The count remains 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, and that one is high, so the count goes to 3-2. Full count, and that one is out to left field. In comes Rollinson a few steps and puts that away for the second out of the inning. I'm sure the fans, you can see some fans came out from Peoria, Illinois. Bradley's showing up. I'm sure they'll be a lot happier tomorrow when the game is out in the sun. As will the Rebel fans down the right field line. A lot of red as both teams, that is their primary color. Williams steps in. That one in for a strike. And the 0-1 pitch, and that one, once again, seems like when Jansen takes something off, that ball is well high and out of the strike zone. One, and that one goes, did he go? No, he didn't, says first base umpire John Wolf. So you would think that the Rebels could almost start sitting dead red, as it appears to be Jansen's pitch that he's getting over for strikes. But he's got something on it, and that one will be fouled off and did not go. Had a chance. First baseman Anderson had a chance, but he was unable to make it an out, so the count will be 2 balls, 2 strikes. It did not go out of play, though, but it didn't hang up quite high enough for Anderson. He had to negotiate the fence over there. And Williams will stay alive. So by no means an easy play. I know that went out of the camera shot there, but it did not go out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Williams, and that one is a swinging strike. So we'll go to the top of the 5th, 1-0. Braves over the Rebels, live from Early Wilson. Rollinson steps in to start the 5th inning and the first pitch, and that one is hammered down past a diving Johnson, and Stott can't get it. That will go as a base hit, as there was no chance of getting that, even if Stott had cleanly fielded that. So
First baseman, Nick Anderson.
So Anderson will come up with Rollinson now at first. 59 pitches for Jabara. And the first pitch showing bunt. He bunts right back. Jabara goes over to Stott, and can they turn it? No, but Wold makes a nice play over at first to make sure. So a good play by Cameron. And we've seen some really good defense by the pitchers so far on the Rebel staff. And of course, their pitching coach, Greg Maddox, has many, many, many gold gloves. And Nick McMurray will step in. So that is now 1 out, an unsuccessful sacrifice bunt attempt. And the first pitch in there for a strike, 0-1 the count to McMurray. .60 pitches, 44 of those 4 strikes for Jabara. And the 0-1, and that one is a ball, 1-1 the count. If you're wondering, Anderson over at first has yet to attempt a stolen base. One ball, 1 strike, and that one in for a strike. 1-2. Rebels right now leading the nation in inducing double plays. Rebels would love to see one here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that one is out to center field. Gamble goes back a few steps and to his right for the second out of the inning. So no double play there, but a out recorded. That'll bring up the top of the order again. Luke Shatted So Shattuck will step in. He has struck out twice, 0 for 2. Once swinging in the first and once looking back in the third. That one little inside, 1-0 the count. And the 1-0 pitch instead of throw over to first, and Anderson back in time. Good move by Jabara. Another step off of first, and I think that might have been the third out, but Anderson able to get back. And the 1-0, and that one, boy, I was about to say in for a strike, but that is not. That is a ball, 2-0 the count. Wind right now blowing pretty much straight out to center field, so anything hit up to center, we'll get a little bit of a ride on the wind. And this one will be chopped down slowly to Stott. He has to charge, and he throws over and records the out over to Wold. So that'll do it. The Braves leave one. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 Braves over the Rebels. Max Smith steps in for the Rebels. He'll lead it off here in the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 the Braves over the Rebels. Smith, Robbins, and Pahukoa scheduled. And that one fouled off. The Rebels have only gotten one hit so far. That was the single by Wold back in the first inning. Otherwise, Jansen has been lights out. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Braves. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Rebels. And the 0-1, and that one outside, 1-1 the count. As I said, the wind blowing out, I guess about 8 to 10 out to center. So if Smith can elevate one, the wind would help him, and he elevates one, but it goes to right field, and that will be a base hit, and the second base hit for the Rebels on the evening, and the first time that the Rebels got their leadoff hitter on.
Left fielder, Grant Robbins.
So Grant Robbins will step in. He grounded out to second base, his one and only appearance back in the second inning. The Braves, of course, would love that, and the Rebels would not, because that would probably be, if it was hit hard enough, a double play. But Robbins trying to do otherwise, and he'll stroke it out, and that will be the second consecutive single to right field. So the Rebels going the other way against Jansen here and get the first two on in the bottom of the fifth.
Designated hitter, Duke Pahukoa.
As we said, it looks like Jansen's having a little bit of problems with the curveball. He's leaving that one high, so the Rebels maybe have been spotting that and just kind of, you know what? He's got a good fastball, but just put it out the opposite field. Now, Doherty playing up at third in case Pahukoa decides to lay down a bunt. And in fact, Anderson also up. So the corners are in for the Braves. Let's see what Pahukoa does here, the freshman. And he'll take the first one. He does show bunt, and he bunts it a little hard and foul. 0-1. So Godman on deck. Of course, with a runner on first and second, Pahukoa would love to put it down to third and make the third baseman field it. Let's see, 0-1 if Coach Stolte is still trying to advance him. He does bunt, and once again, 0-2. And that's one of those things, Pahukoa, the freshman, he's almost, if you're sacrificing, he's waiting maybe perhaps a little bit too long to show bunt, and he's almost thinking like it's for a base hit. And, you know, if you're sacrificing, you know what? Show it a little bit earlier, get that bat in the proper position. Now, it's 0-2 now. You would think the bunt would be off. Every once in a while in college baseball, I've seen 2 strikes. Now, would it be great if Pahukoa could get a single to right field? Oh, way outside. But that is the silver lining. If you can't get the bunt down, at least if you get a hit afterwards, you can kind of go back to the dugout and say, hey, you know. And the 1-2 pitch, and that one is, well, it's just out to the second baseman, McMurray. So an unproductive out, unfortunately, for the Rebels. The base runners remain Smith at second and Robbins at first, and that'll bring up Godman, the catcher. So unfortunately for Pahukoa, he can't go back and been unable to get the bunt down and at least go back and say, hey, look, I got a hit. So, but still only 1 out. Rebels getting the first 2 runners on, and Godman will take the first pitch and he'll swing and miss. Smith and Robbins both with singles to right field. And you'd love to see Godman. There's a big hole out right there in between first and second. And the 0-1, that one inside, 1-1 the count. The 1-1 to Godman, but instead, Jansen will spin around, get off the mound. Count remains 1-1. James Gamble on deck for the Rebels. Godman's had a few big hits already this season, and that one misses. 2-1 the count. Good stop by Rice behind the plate. Keep the runners from advancing. Kevin Higgins over at third base. Pat Armstrong at first. Godman can get a hit. We'll see if Smith can score. And a plane flies over, landing in McCarran, and that might have caused Jansen to step off the mound there. A lot of times that can be a home field advantage for the Rebels. A lot of times opposing players can get a little bit rattled by the plane. And that one in for a strike. So the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, runners on second and first. Rebels trail by 1 here, bottom of the 5th. Fans still coming on in to early Wilson. A little Friday night baseball action. And Godman will foul that one off, and the count remains 2-2. Next 2 games will be when the sun is out. 2:05 tomorrow, 1:05 on Sunday. And the 2-2 to Godman, and that one is fouled off. Boy, that was maybe a little high, and Godman, I thought, he had the right idea. It looked like he was trying to serve it out to right field. Bolt, the right fielder, playing very shallow, I would say. So if it gets out there quickly, Smith may not be able to score from second. So quick pace to the game until this inning, and all of a sudden, Jansen with runners on, the pace has slowed down considerably. Boy, Bolt really is shallow in right field. And the 2-2 to Godman, and that one is a swing and a miss, and that is the second out of the inning. So it'll be up to James Gamble if the Rebels can put something on the board here. Unless, of course, he walked, then it would be up to Bryson Stott. Gamble tried to bunt, and a good play by Jansen, who caught the bunt coming off the mound and diving. Kept Gamble from, if that had dropped, Gamble would have easily been at first. And that one, now there's a curveball that actually in the strike zone. So Jansen might be starting to get control of some off-speed stuff there, which would make him even more dangerous. Gamble looking for that big 2-out hit, the 0-1, and that one is chopped in over the head. There is the big 2-out hit. Smith will charge on home, play at the plate well behind, and the Rebels have tied it up on Gamble's 2-out RBI single. That's a pick-me-up. Great job by the freshman. I can think of another time he got a 2-out hit in the season already. That is big. What a pick-me-up. So that'll give Bryson Stott now a chance to hit with 2 runners on and 2 outs. And the first pitch to Stott, that one outside, 1-0 the count. Johnson on deck. Let's see how carefully they pitch Stott. He is 0 for 2. So each team with 4 hits and each team with 1 run and no errors. So identical across that part. Braves scored their one in the 4th. The Rebels now here in the bottom of the 5th have made it even. And the 1-0 to Stott, and that one right down the pipe for a strike, 1-0 the count. Good pitching by both teams so far, both Jansen and Jabara, as you would expect on a Friday night. Your number 1 starters, and the 1-1 to Stott, and that one, just a little outside, 2-1. Hey, that's, that was close, but I'll say this. The home plate umpire has been consistent, and that's what you ask for. That was a ball when the Braves were up, and it's a ball right now when the Rebels are up. The 2-1 to Stott, and that one high, 3-1 the count, with Johnson, the senior, on deck. So 3 balls, 1 strike. That's Robbins on second. Great speed with Gamble at first. And the 3-1 to Stott, and that one is low. So the bases will be loaded. It was the first walk of the evening that the Rebels have gotten, and Dylan Johnson now will come up with the bases loaded. Johnson. get a visit to the mound, and that is, talk about a nice little fact here. 17 walks so far in the season for Stott and 17 hits. Well done. If you're at Early Wilson, you would hear the Peanuts teachers right now talking. The wah, 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 wah. It's a very bad imitation of that, but a lot of fun out here at Early Wilson with the Bruce Lane scoreboard. And a lot more sound effects this year. All right, let's see what Dylan can do. Rebel fans starting to chant Rebels out there. 2 outs. Robbins at third. Gamble at first. Gamble at second. Stott at first. And the first one misses. 1-0 the count. No action in the Braves dugout right now. Now, Jansen has fallen behind a few times on hitters, and he's been able to come back every time except for the first walk that he issued to Stott. And the 1-0 to Johnson. That one way outside. Boy, Rice reached all the way across his body to stop that one from going to the backstop and giving Robbins a chance to score. So good play by Rice. And the count is 2-0, and now there are some Bradley Braves running down to the bullpen. In fact, a contingent of Braves are running down there right now. 2 balls, no strikes to Johnson, and that one is popped up. Second baseman goes out, and McMurray makes it. But the Rebels do scratch across one, tied up. We'll go to the top of the 6th, all tied up, 1 apiece, live from Early Wilson. Andy Shedid steps in for the Braves. 1-1 here in the top of the 6th.
Now batting the center fielder, Andy Shedid.
Shedid, Bolt, and O'Brien scheduled for the Braves. And that one a little high. 1-1 the count. Identical lines there. 1 run, 4 hits for each team. Each team has, that is a hit batsman. And Shedid will trot on down to first. So the Braves will get the leadoff runner on here in the top of the 6th. That'll bring up Dan Bolt. Trainer going over and checking on Shedid, looking at his right arm. And he'll stay in the game. As we said last inning, the Rebels do lead the country in turning the double play. Jabara would love to induce one here. Jabara's pitch count sitting at 71. And no action right now in the Rebel bullpen. And a throw over to first, and boy, I'll say this, Jabara has a great move to first. He does not hesitate to sling it over there, and he puts it right on the bag, giving the first baseman Wold a chance to barely have to move his glove and try to tag the runner. Of course, when you get hit by a pitch, you love to try to stretch it into a double. Hit by batsman in a stolen base, and Shadid is the speed on their team right now. 3 for 4 in stolen bases. He has 3, and he's only been caught once. That one in for a strike. 0-1 the count to Bolt. And the 0-1, and that one in for a strike. 0-2 the count. O'Brien on deck for the Braves. Dan Bolt out of Morton, Illinois, Morton High School. And the 0-2 instead of throw over, and once again, Shadid back. Do not forget, we do lose an hour this weekend. Spring forward. Which just means you can get out to the ballpark even earlier on Sunday. It'll just seem so nice. So 2 a.m. in the morning, we lose that hour. So party or don't party accordingly. Did you hear that, Austin? And the 0-2 to Bolt. That one is a called third strike, and the 7th K registered by Jabara tonight. And the first out of the inning.
Designated hitter, Connor O'Brien.
So Connor O'Brien will come in now with one still on at first and 1 out. Johnson at third, playing just a step or 2 back. There goes the runner. He starts and stops. Ooh, I thought Godman was going to do a quick throw down to Wold and try to get Shadid, but he stopped quickly. The 0-1 to O'Brien. There goes Shadid on the run, and that is a perfectly placed ball out to right field. Smith will go over. Shadid will be waved. Nope, stopped at third. The throw comes in. So it'll be runners at the corners. Good bit of hitting by O'Brien. So Doherty will now come to the plate with runners at the corner and 1 out.
Brendan Doherty.
Of course, we were talking about double plays. Now would be a perfect time for a Rebel double play if you are a Rebel fan. If you're a Bradley fan, it would be a terrible time. And the first pitch to Doherty, and that one is down to third. A little bit of a bobble. They go over to Williams, and they do turn the double play to Wold, and that will be another country-leading double play by the Rebels to get out of the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, 1-1, all tied up. New pitcher for the Bradley Braves. It'll be Cole Cook, the senior from Washington, Illinois. He comes in with a 1.35 ERA. And he'll be facing Wold, Williams, and Smith. Jack Thomas 1 for 2 on the evening. He had a single back in the first. And this one will be skied out to deep center field, and a nice catch by the center fielder. That wind was helping that ball go out, but Shattered with good speed, able to run it down for the first out of the inning. So Jack Thomas gave it a ride, but to no avail for the Rebels. First out of the inning.
Second baseman, Darian Williams.
That's definitely where you want to hit it in the air, though, because the wind will, if you can get it up there, the wind will continue to help it go deeper and deeper. And Cook's pitch to Williams is in for a strike. Williams 0 for 2 today. Struck out in the fourth. And the 0-1, and that one hung a little bit. Oh, and boy, I'll tell you, I'm sure he'd like to have that one back. But that'll just go to Luke Shattuck, and he'll throw it over to Nick Anderson for the second out of the inning. That one looked like a hanger from Cook.
Right fielder, Max Smith.
So Max Smith will step in. He had a single back in the fifth. And he has scored the one and only run so far for the Rebels. So Smith, the first pitch outside, 1-0 the count. Robbins on deck, and Smith will take the next one low, 2-0 the count. It's probably, I would say this is the strongest the wind has been blowing, and it is blowing straight out. Maybe a little bit to left. The 2-0, and that one is hammered out, and that will be a second single for Mr. Smith. His first single went to right field, this one to center field.
The left fielder, Grant Robbins.
That'll bring up Grant Robbins, who followed Max Smith's single back in the fifth inning with a single of his own. See if he can keep up with Max on the hits. And he'll take this one, and he will, in fact. So when Smith gets a single, Robbins says, you know what, I'll get a single too. Each of them 2 for 3 on the day. So that'll bring up Duke Pahukoa, who I'm sure would like to join the hits here. And he'll be facing Cook for the first time. Pahukoa unable to get down a sacrifice back in the fifth, and then flied out to second base with runners at first and second. In fact, it was the same two runners. It was Smith at second and Robbins at first. Wind blowing out for Pahukoa, and he'll take that first one outside, 1-0 the count, with Godman on deck. 2 outs. Of course, James Gamble got the big 2-out hit in the fifth to get the Rebels their one and only run of the game. And it's all tied up here in the bottom of the sixth. And the 1-0 to Pahukoa drops in there for a strike, 1-1 the count. Field looks great out here. And the 1-1, and that one is swung on and fouled back, 1-2 the count. It's been kind of lucky with the rain. There was a game here Wednesday, got in, and then rain on Thursday, so a little bit of rain can make for a nice green field that we have here right now. And the 1-2 to Pahukoa, and this one will be to the shortstop. Shattuck, he'll go the short way, and that'll do it. So the Rebels leave 2. We'll go to the top of the seventh, all tied up, 1 apiece, live from Early Wilson. Cameron Jabbaro's pitch count sitting at 76, and he'll face 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order for the Braves. Keaton Rice will step in. He's 0 for 2. He struck out both times. Last time looking in the fourth. And the first pitch, and this one is hammered off, and that will be a great running catch by Grant Robbins, just in fair territory. And Robbins really covered a lot of ground there for the first out. So one pitch, one out. Grant has been very impressive with his defense so far this year. So Rollinson will step in. Rollinson has 2 of the 5 hits. He's the only Brave to have 2 hits on the day. Both of them singles. And the 0-1 to Rollinson, and this one is hammered down the left field line, and that is a foul ball. 0-2 the count. That got the Braves dugout going, but it just kept going foul. So 0-2. See if Jabara can figure out how to get Mr. Rollinson out. Eli out of St. John's, Florida, Creekside High School. And the 0-2, and that one is fouled straight back. The count remains 0-2. Jabara's control has been very good. 7 strikeouts, has yet to walk one. 0-2. You wonder if he'll put one outside and see if Rollinson will chase one, and he goes a little too far outside, but good thought process there. 1-2 the count. And the 1-2 to Rollinson, and that one is fouled off. So Rollinson came in batting 161 on the year. And so far, he is like in Las Vegas. 2-2. Jabbar trying to get him out for the first time in the game. And the 1-2, and that one is skied up. Should be an out. Looks like Stott calling for it at short and puts it away for the second out of the inning. So for the first time in the night, Rollinson will be retired.
The first baseman, Nick Anderson.
That'll bring up Nick Anderson with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Starting to be a stirring down in the Rebels bullpen. And the first pitch to Anderson, and that one big swing and a miss. Anderson was trying to get that up in the jet stream. The 0-1, and that one is out to right field. Smith looks to be under it and puts it away. So great job by Cameron Jabara. Awesome work. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. All tied up at 1 apiece. 8-9-1 for the Rebels. That means Godman, Gamble, and Stott. And the first one to Godman, he shows bunt, and that goes foul. 0-1 the count. Cook still on the mound for the Braves. Bradley Braves out of Peoria, Illinois. Missouri Valley Conference. Have yet to play a home game this year. That one outside, as you might expect, if their home games are in Peoria. They will not play their first home game until they'll go on the road still after this. Their first home game will be March 27th against McMurray. That is a nice advantage schools in the Southwest have in Florida, as they get to not start off the season on the road so much. And that one high, 2-2 the count to Godman. Even though Mountain West play, the Rebels' first 6 games in conference on the road, they're already 2-3. I mean, taking 2 out of 3 in Fresno State, and they'll go to San Jose State. No, that one, did it hit him? No, he got out of the way. The count will go full. Rebels will return to Mountain West play, but not until March 15th. They still have 4 more at home after this, 2 against Bradley, and then Washington State from the Pac-12 will come down for a midweek contest. And that one fouled off. Of course, the Mountain West basketball tournament will start here in a couple days over at the Thomas and Mack. Count remains full to Godman, and he'll take this one, and that one, ooh, nice change up by Cook, and that one in for a strike. Called third strike, Cole Cook. That is his first strike out of the game.
Center fielder, James Gamble.
James Gamble will step up, and that means Doherty, the third baseman, will come in case Gamble tries to lay one down. Boy, if Gamble could put one down the first base line. Anderson is very deep. And wow, another bender by Cook. Coming in here. They've got some good ERAs on that staff for the Braves. And the 0-1, and that one will be chopped down. That second bounce by Doherty will probably cost him. Oh, I cannot believe. I thought he was safe, and he is called out. Oh, am I seeing that with Homer eyes, or did other? That was close.
Bryson Stott.
But it doesn't matter. That is the second out of the inning. Bang, bang play at first. I thought that little hesitation by Doherty at third would cost them the out. But instead, Bryson Stott steps in with nobody on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And the first pitch in for a strike. Cook is a fun pitcher to watch, I'll say that. He drop those pitches in for strikes. The 0-1 to Stott, and that one is hammered foul past a statuesque Pat Armstrong in the first base coaching box. Pat was not going to move. He's like, I'm not moving on that one. Somebody jumps out of the Rebel bullpen and gets that. And the 0-2, and that one misses. 1-2 the count. Due up, it'll be 9-1-2 scheduled for the Braves in the top of the 8th. And the 1-2 to Stott, and this one is, a called third strike. I think that's the first time the outside part of the plate has been called, and there his words, watch out, Stott. Higgins coming in to get Stott out of there, keep him in the game. Oh, the whole game I was saying that outside part of the plate was not there, and I think that's the first time tonight the outside part of the plate was there, and Stott was a little bit surprised, but we will go to the top of the 8th, all tied up. 1 apiece, live from Early Wilson. Cameron Jabbar will stay in there and face McMurray. Jabbar 84 pitches, 61 for strikes. That is very impressive. Johnson in at third, and that one in for a strike. 0-1 the count. Jabbar with 7 Ks on the day. He's given up 5 hits. And the 0-1, and that one misses. 1-1 the count. Two, 3, and 4 due up for the Rebels in the bottom of the 8th. And that one in and tight. Jabbar did hit one batter. And the 2-1, and that one right in there for a strike, right? He did call a strike. Yeah, I thought he. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. I'll tell you what, I've lost the strike zone then. So it is now 3-1. So he's saying it's away, but that's almost a hand gesture for a strike call. All right. So 3 balls, 1 strike. And that's a strike. 3-2. So the count goes full. On a brisk night here with the wind blowing out. 3-2 and a big swing, and that will be the 8th strikeout of the night for Cameron Jabara. Good job fighting back, especially when I think they wanted one of those for a called strike, but that's the way you do it. So that will turn the batting over back to 1, and Luke Shadid will step in. And that one drops in for a strike. As I said, 2, 3, and 4 scheduled for the Rebels in the bottom of the 8th. And the 0-1, and that one is hammered foul and back towards Smokin' Sam's. And the 0-2 pitch. Jabbar sits and delivers, and that one is high, 1-2 the count. There is left-handed action in the Rebel bullpen. Bradley bullpen currently quiet. And the 1-2, and that one called third strike. The 9th strikeout of the night for Mr. Jabara. It'll bring up Andy Shadid. Andy got hit by a pitch his last time, and he'll take this one, and he will pop it up, and Jack Thomas Wool comes over in foul territory and makes a play. So 8 strong innings, 9 strikeouts for Cameron Jabara. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, all tied up. Live from Early Wilson at 1 apiece. Cole Cook comes in to start his third inning of pitching. He's been perfect so far for Bradley, and he'll face 2, 3, and 4. So Dylan Johnson steps in, and the first pitch he will take outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. And the 1-0 to Johnson, and that one is out to right field, and it will drop in fair territory for a leadoff single for Dylan Johnson. Boy, that thing hung up there, but not quite long enough for Dan Bolt to run on over, and it drops just inside the foul line for a single. So Jack Thomas Wold will step in. How will they play this? With your number 3 hitter, do you bunt? Doherty guarding against the bunt at third. Williams on deck. Jack Thomas does show bunt. He has to jump out of the way as it is way inside, almost hitting him. And the 1-0, this time he does not show bunt, and the count goes to 1-1. And the 1-1, this time he does show bunt. He gets the bunt down, but it is foul. The count will go to 1-2 and probably take the bunt away as an option. So the count 1-2 to Jack Thomas Wold. And instead he'll shoot one out to center field. Now the wind is blowing out, but Shattuck looks to have a play on it. Just a few steps short of the warning track, and that will be the first out of the inning. Darian Williams will now step in. He's 0 for 3 on the day. And the Rebels are hoping that little bottom of the 8th inning magic. And he'll take the first one outside, 1-0 the count. So Johnson at first, now 1 out in the inning. And Williams on this one is right back at the pitcher. Wow, Cook. There's 2 guys at second, so which little confusion. So no double play. Johnson is out at second. And boy, Cook really made a good play. That handcuffed him. But the confusion with McMurray and Shattuck at second, I think, at least kept the Rebels out from hitting into a double play and giving Max Smith, who is 2 for 3 on the day, a chance now with Williams now at first. So this one slow inside, 1-0 the count. So Smith and Robbins, the only 2 Rebels with multiple hits this game, both 2 for 3. If they could do it again here, odds are the Rebels would have the lead. And the 1-0 to Smith, and that one is popped up and going into center field. Shattuck does make the out. We'll go to the 9th, all tied up, 1 apiece, live from Early Wilson. So Jackson Kofer comes in for Cameron Jabara, who did great job for the Rebels. But it is all tied up here, one apiece in the top of the ninth. Dan Bolt will step in, 1 for 2 on the day. He was caught looking his last time at bat, but he does have a single, and this one in for a strike. So 2 great pitching performances by the starters, and neither will have a decision in tonight's contest. And the 0-1, and that one just misses outside. 1-1 the count. So Bolt, O'Brien, and Doherty due up for the Braves. And if you're looking ahead, 6, 7, and 8, Robbins, Pahukoa, and Godman due up for the Rebels in the ninth. Of course, all that is subject to change. You never know. Pinch hitters. It's the ninth inning. Anything could happen. The 1-1, and that one outside. 2-1 the count. Tomorrow's game start 2:05. Sunday's 1:05. Which, remember, we spring ahead this weekend, so it'll seem like 12:05. Or would that seem like, oh boy, now I'm confused. We lose an hour. That's all I know. And the 2-1, and that one a big swing, and that one is out of play. 2-2 the count. Wind blowing straight out to center field. And then it goes a little bit to left field. Two balls, 2 strikes, and that one low, 3-2 the count. So the count goes full. The Braves have not yet walked tonight. They did get on base one time by a hit batter. And the 3-2, and that one is a swinging strike for the first out of the inning and the first strikeout of the night for Jackson Kofer.
Designated hitter, Connor O'Brien.
That is the 10th strikeout for the 2 pitchers combined, 9 by Jabara and 1 by Kofer. So Connor O'Brien steps in. He is 1 for 3 on the day in the first pitch, and that one is right down the pipe for a strike, 0-1 the count. And the 0-1, and that one low, 1-1 the count. Whatever team does not win tonight, I'm sure will be greatly saddened by wasting a great pitching performance. That one is hammered, but foul. 1-2. I know that goes off the screen when it goes down in the corners in the outfield, so that one was foul by quite a lot. Maybe 15 feet. 1-2 the count. And the 1-2 to O'Brien, and that one is chopped down to, well, actually, Kofer stabs it. I thought that was going to get through to Williams, but it does not, so that will go 1-3, and that will be the second out of the ninth.
Third baseman, Brendan Doherty.
So Doherty, the third baseman, steps in. Doherty right now has the 1 RBI for the Braves. That was a double back in the fourth to put the Braves on top, 1-0 at the time. It is all tied up now, 1-1 in the top of the ninth. And the pitch, and that one right down the pipe for a strike, 0-1 the count. And the 0-1, and that one outside, 1-1 the count. little bit low. 2-1 to Doherty from Des Moines, Iowa. Dowling Catholic High School. As you would expect, a lot of Midwest players on Bradley, as they are from Peoria, Illinois. That one in for a strike. 2-2 the count. The 2-2 pitch, and that one is low. The count will go full. So for the second time this inning, a Bradley hitter has gotten to a full count. Kofer able to strike out Bolt on a 3-2 pitch. Let's see what he can do here. To Doherty, and that one is a called third strike. All right, we go to the bottom of the ninth. Is there some magic in the Rebels' bats? We'll see. All tied up, one apiece. Live from Early Wilson. Cole Cook still in for the Bradley Braves, and why not? He has been lights out. 3 innings pitch. Has not given up a run, and he's had a couple Ks. Has given up 3 hits. Robbins steps in, and he'll take the first one outside. 1-0 the count. So the Rebels looking to scratch across 1 run and win this game. Bottom of the ninth, all tied up. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for the Braves. 1 run, 7 hits, no errors for the Rebels. And really a well-played game. Pitchers on both staffs not walking a bunch of hitters, and very crisply played. That one in for a strike. 2-1 the count. And I'll say this about the Rebel pitchers, the 2 of them, Jabara. Oh, that should drop in for a base hit. Because the Bradley hitters, as I was trying to say, have been, the Bradley pitchers, see now I'm getting all excited. The Bradley pitchers have fallen behind some batters, but they've always come back and battled back. So the Rebels have the leadoff hitter here. Let's manage along. Will Pahukoa try to drop down a bunt? He was unable to. Back in the 5th. You would sure think so. Get that winning run to in scoring position. Okay, showing bunt early, which is good. Before he was stabbing at it, he pulls the bat back and takes that one low. 1-0 the count. I like that. Pahukoa, when he did it last time, he was almost trying to bunt for a base hit, but this time he was getting that bat out early. So once again, showing, and he pops it up, but luckily it goes foul and drops out of play. So it is a strike. 1-1 the count. I know it always seems, oh, bunting's so easy, bunting's so easy. Yeah, you see, even at the pro level, bunting is not that easy. 1-1, and that one, what a pitch, but it gets by, oh, man. Got by Rice, he had trouble picking it up. That is a strike, by the way. Anderson, the first baseman, kind of almost looked like he might have deked Robbins for a second, and that kept Robbins at first, so a little missed opportunity there, but ball did not quite get far enough away. Pauco goes the other way, and that ball will go foul. Foul ball. So 1-2 the count. It just kept slicing off and was fouled by actually quite a lot. At first, when it went off his bat, the whole Rebel dugout quickly jumped up, but it was well foul. The 1-2 to Paucoa, and this one is lifted out to right field. The wind is going, and what a catch, but good base running and basically a sacrifice one way or another. Unable to get the bunt down, but boy, good play by Shattuck out in center field and good base running by Robbins. Bradley makes sure that Robbins did not leave early. He didn't, and in fact, he is called safe, so not a double play. So one way or another, the Rebels do get the go-ahead and winning run to scoring position. It'll be up to Godman and Gamble to try to get him home. Gamble already has one big two-out hit, but I'm sure James would have no problem if Jacob would take care of it right here. And the first pitch way outside. 1-0 the count. Like I said, Bradley pitchers have been falling behind, but they've always been able to battle back and really done a great job. So Pahukoa does the job of getting Robbins into scoring position in an unusual way and almost in a bad way. Oh, that one. Oh, where did that miss? 2-0, missed up, says Dick Calvert, and I will believe him. And the count now is 2-0. Thought that had a little more drop on it. Might have dropped in, but Godman now up 2-0. Of course, he has to keep that. Just look for it in the zone because him walking doesn't really hurt Bradley. And the ball gets away, and it gets away far enough from Rice, and good base running by Robbins. And now the winning run is 90 feet away. Now the count is 3-0. You almost wonder if they'll walk Godman and try to set up the double play, but you have to remember Gamble with great speed is on deck. So the infield in now, the 3-0 to Godman, and that one, whether it was intentional or not, but it was a walk. But like I said, they are setting up the double play, but if you want one batter that is tough to double up, it is James Gamble. Now, a few years ago, the Rebels loved to do the old suicide squeeze. Will we see a suicide squeeze to end the game here? Something tells me that might be some of the talking out at the mound right now. You've got your fastest player who is used to bunting, going over talking to Higgins. Now, don't forget, Stott is on deck, which is a good thing. And it looked earlier in the game like he might get thrown out on a third strike call that he was not too happy about. There is action in the Bradley bullpen. Looks like a right-hander. In fact, it is a right-hander. Boy, it seems like the umpires are letting these mound visits go on a lot longer than last year so far. All right, so runners at first and third. James Gamble, who has the lone RBI for the Rebels on a big two-out base hit back in the fifth, trying to be the offensive hero. Cameron Jabara, already a pitching hero today. Of course, he cannot win, but... And the first one, just misses. Jackson Kofer right now in line for the win if the Rebels can do something here in the bottom of the ninth. And the 1-0 to Gamble, and this one is popped up, and boy, that's not going to be far enough, I don't think. I mean, that is short. Shadid will get it, and he'll make a strong throw to home, and unfortunately, that is now the second out of the inning. But here you go. This is Bryson Stott. Yeah, now if they're going to walk him, of course. And you don't have to throw 4 anymore. You can just say you're going to walk him, and Stott will go to first. So the bases will be loaded now. Robbins needs to be alive at third. Rice has had a little bit of an adventure at home. So let's see what we got here. Dylan Johnson, bases loaded, 2 outs. Bottom of the ninth, all tied up. Rebels looking to have a walk-off here in game 1 of this series. The first pitch has been a ball many times from the Bradley pitchers. Let's see what this is. This one is low, 1-0 the count. A walk is as good as a hit. Robbins needs to be alive there in case the ball gets away from Rice. Ooh, Robbins doing a little running down there, trying to get something. And that one will be chopped down to short. And that will do it for the Rebels. Shadid goes the short way to McMurray. And unfortunately for the Rebels, they load him up, unable to scratch one across. We'll go to extra innings. Free baseball at Early Wilson, tied up at 1. So Keaton Rice, the catcher, will step up for the Braves. 6, 7, and 8, part of the lineup. Jackson Kofer still the pitcher. Got a perfect top of the ninth with 2 Ks. I'll see if he can give the Rebels another opportunity in the bottom of the 10th with the score tied, as more Braves now make their way down to the bullpen. And the 1-0, and that one to Rice is low. 2-0 the count. No action for now in the Rebel bullpen. Well, actually, as I say that, there's some meandering out there. That one will miss, so the count quickly goes to 3-0. And the 3-0, that one misses, so it will be a 4-pitch walk, and the leadoff hitter is on for the Braves.
Left fielder, Eli Rollinson.
Looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter. 37. Jean-Francois Garon. Garon shows bunt, pulls the bat back and takes that. So that is 5 consecutive balls in a row for Kofer. Johnson up at third. So Garon must be their best bunter. Shows bunts again, and he does bunt it, and he bunts it foul. 1-1 the count. Garon from Quebec. Quebecois. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a throw over to first instead. Chasing Rice back. And the 1-1, and the bunt pulls the bat back, does Garon, and the count goes to 2-1. And the 2-1, that'll be a throw over to first. Rice not really that far off. Keaton the catcher, so perhaps not the fastest on the base pass. Shows bunt and foul ball, so now the count is 2-2. So both teams unable to get bunts down in this game. We'll see with 2 strikes, as I said, occasionally in college baseball I have seen position players even with 2 strikes try to get the bunt down. But instead he'll chop it, and that'll be a 1. Oh, safe at first. Yeah, Stott unable to get a clean throw. Kofer did get the lead runner, so that would be the positive for the Rebels. But Garon just a little too fast and just not quite hit hard enough. Or actually, it's back to the pitcher, probably hit hard enough, but a little hesitation at second. So Anderson now steps in. Kofer regroups, gets back up on the hill. Garon over now at first. Big lead over there, and this one is a big swing and a big miss for a strike. 0-1 the count. 3, 4, and 5 for the Rebels in the bottom of the 10th. Kofer trying to keep it a tie ball game. Rebels had the bases loaded in the 9th, but with 2 outs, unable to scratch 1 run across. 0-2 the count now. McMurray on deck, second baseman. And the 0-2, and that one is chopped to Williams. Let's see if they can get a double play here. Over to Stott. Stott throws over to Wold, and nice pick. And another double play, the second one of the game for the Rebels. Will go to the bottom of the 10th. Rebels need to get one to win. Jack Thomas Wold will start off the bottom of the 10th, and he will, amazingly enough, take a ball. Like I said, the Bradley pitchers have not been ahead of the count, but have not been wild. They've been able to battle back. And that one, Jack Thomas Wold will shoot that out to right field. Back goes Bolt, and wow, jumps up and makes the catch in front of the fence. Ooh, great play by Dan Bolt of the Braves. I thought that was ticketed for extra bases. Nice play. You tip your cap, and I'm sure the 335 club thought that was going to be extra bases. Williams comes in and gets it down, and that'll be a bobble at short. Williams will beat it out and be on base. That will be an error to Shattuck.
Right fielder, Max Smith.
So here's the part of the Rebel lineup that have been successful. Smith and Robbins both with multiple hits. Smith with 2 and Robbins with 3. So part of the lineup that has been successful tonight. Smith takes the first one. Oh, wow. Dropped in there for a strike. Pat Armstrong goes over and talks to Williams at first. There is one out. Williams has not attempted a stolen base this year. And that one, oh, wow, that almost hit Smith in the helmet. But he's able to get out of the way. 1-1 the count. Wind is blowing out. And that one, well, there you go. You pitch up and in, and the next one you pitch out and down, and the count is 1-2. Smith does have 2 home runs on the day, or on the year, sorry. This one out in the jet stream, but just not enough opposite field. Rollinson puts it away for the second out of the inning.
Left fielder, Grant Robbins.
So Robbins is going to have to do something here. At least extend the inning, or we will be going to the top of the 11th. Robbins, 3 for 4 on the day. His last 3 at-bats, he's gotten a single. Outfield pretty deep for Bradley. That one high, 1-0 the count. Rollinson not too deep in left, but boy, Shattuck in center is pretty deep there, so Robbins could drop one in front. And that one even higher and farther outside, 2-0 the count. Pahukoa on deck should Robbins be able to extend the inning. Williams at first. Cook holding him, looking him back, and that one 3-0 the count, so don't know if this is an intentional, unintentional walk, but Robbins has been hot today, and the count now 3-0. And the 3-0 to Robbins, well, that in for a strike, so 3-1, so good pitch by Cook. And the 3-1, and this one is up and in foul territory, and the third baseman puts it away. So we'll go to the top of the 11th, all tied up, 1 apiece. Donovan McChrystal in to pitch for the Rebels here at the top of the 11th. Nick McMurray, number 9 hitter for the Braves, will step in. Top of the 11th, all tied up, 1 apiece. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error for the Braves. 1 run, 8 hits, no errors for the Rebels. That one in for a strike on 1 the count. So great pitching from both sides. Some pretty good defense on both sides. And we are in extras here in the first game of a 3-game set. And the 1-1, McChrystal, that one misses, 2-1 the count. So the Rebels have used 2 pitchers previous to McChrystal. Neither one, Jabara or Kofer, will be a pitcher of record. And so far, Bradley has used 2 pitchers. We're not sure if Cole Cook will come out for the bottom of the 11th, even though there is double-barreled action in the Bradley bullpen. 3-1, and that one in for a strike, 3-2 the count. That allows Johnson to take a few steps back at third, protecting against the bunt in case McMurray decided to lay one down, but now he's a couple steps behind the bag. And the 3-2 pitch, and this one is a big swing and a big miss. And that is now 12 strikeouts that Rebel pitchers have induced. So Luke Shadid steps in, 0 for 4 on the night. And the first pitch, and that one is fouled off, 0-1 the count. 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Rebels. James Gamble, the number 9 hitter, the only hitter with an RBI for the Rebels tonight, would be scheduled to bat third, and that one outside 1-1 the count. And the 1-1, and that one misses. 2-1 the count, a little high and outside. Now what is a colder and windier night. And that one is chopped down. Stott goes deep in the hole, sets and throws. What a stretch and what a throw. Stott with the great throw, Wold with the great stretch, and that is the second out of the inning. Wow, that is about as deep in the hole as you can get. Stott set himself and made the strong throw over to first to complete the out. Andy Shadid, who is 0 for 3 to get hit by a pitch, but he made a great play in center field on a pahukoa that probably, looking back on it, is the reason why we're here in extras, because I believe it was Robbins who was on, and if that had dropped, I think Robbins could have easily scored because that would have been way out there. So, while not doing much offensively, he certainly has made his mark on the game defensively several times, but that's the one that jumps to mind as a game changer right now. And the 1-1 becomes a 1-2. Same two teams go at it tomorrow, 2:05, live from Early Wilson. Come on out if you're in the area. Smoking Sam's is here. You can have either a late lunch or an early dinner on a beautiful Saturday. Sun should be out. That one chopped foul. Count remains 1-2. Can't make that one. Sunday, 1:05. Big swing, big miss. That'll do it. We'll go to the bottom of the 11th, tied up 1 apiece. Runs a premium here tonight. Let's see if the Rebels can scratch one across and win this game. Brian Schrimmer comes in to pitch for the Bradley Braves. He's made 2 appearances. He's got a 4.5 ERA. He's walked 3 and struck out 4 in those 2 innings he has appeared so far this year. So Dan Bolt is now moving from right to left.
Dan Bolt, who was in right field, has moved to left field.
And remaining in the game is Jean-Francois Garon.
Jean-Francois Giron is now playing.
So he's in right. So Garon in right, Bolt in left, and Schrimmer the pitcher. And he will be facing Pahukoa. Duke 0 for 4, but if not for a great play by the center fielder Shatted, he probably would probably have the game-winning RBI. He lifted one out to deep center field, and Shatted made a great play. The Robins was able to advance from first to second on, but then unable to get home the rest of the way. So Duke trying to lift another one out just a little bit farther. Boy, look at that. Schrimmer has a fun little release there, doesn't he? Let's see if he does it again. Yeah. Kind of an exaggerated wind up there. 1-1. And there he goes again. And this one is hammered out to left. Back goes Bolt, remember. And he dropped it. But no, actually a double. So Paukoa does get one up there. And Bolt, remember, moved over. He was in right field. Moved over to left. And Pahukoa with a double to lead off the bottom of the 11th. So the Rebels have a runner in scoring position with no outs in an attempt to win this game. So Godman will now step in. So Godman, who walked his last at-bat in the 9th, but is 0 for 3. Let's see how the Rebels want to play this. Looks like he is sacrificing, and he gets it down right away. And the only play is to first, so there's the first successful bunt of the evening, and that gets the winning run over to third. Good job by Jacob. So James Gamble, the one Rebel with an RBI tonight, has a chance to get the game-winning RBI with Paukoa at third. Now Rice has played very good behind the plate, but he did have an adventure a couple times. Good stop there. Did he go? He did go, so that is 0-1. Now, in almost the same situation, I believe it was runners out the corner at the time, Gamble with his speed. I know the infielders are in. Yeah, probably, but I mean, suicide squeeze. Would you try it here? We know Gamble can bunt. The 0-1, and instead he goes to right field, and that will fall foul. 0-2 the count. So there goes the... Unless you are super confident in your bunting, there goes the bunting. The infield's still in, so if he can get it, if he hits it at any infielder, Paukoa probably will not be able to move. But that opens up a lot of holes. And the 0-2 to Gamble, and that one low, 1-2 the count. Good eye by Gamble there. He wanted to go, but he held up. And now Stott is on deck. Last time Stott came up with a runner in scoring position in a game-winning situation, they walked him. So could definitely see that happening again. So it'll probably be up to Gamble or Johnson. And the 1-2 to Gamble, and that one low, 2-2. Good stop by Rice. Little extra pressure on the catcher here. Count now even. Good eye by Gamble on those last two pitches. All tied up. Bottom of the 11th. 9 hits for the Rebels, only 1 run. The 2-2, and that one high, so full count to James Gamble. Rebel fans, some of them on their feet, hoping this pitch will be the pitch that will determine the game for tonight. And the full count pitch, and that one is, popped up shallow. Pauco is not going to be able to go anywhere as Garan makes that catch in right field. So Stott, probably going to get walked here, right?
The shortstop, Bryson Stott.
And Stott will instantly make a right turn and go down to first base. Oh.
Third baseman, Dylan Johnson.
If the Rebels don't win this one, they're going to look back on several opportunities with either bases loaded or the winning run at third base. Great pitching by both teams. So runners at the corner, 2 outs. Dylan Johnson, another opportunity to win the game for the Rebels. Agreed. You bunt to that right side and the game is over and the Rebels win. Successful bunt. That one inside 1-0 the count. Stott started and stopped. He's not being held at first, so. Seems like that would be a gift base if he wants to get down to second. Of course, his run means nothing, but it takes away the. This one shot out to second. Oh, it eats up a little bit McMurray, but he's able to hold with it. And once again, the Rebels leave the winning run 90 feet away. We'll go to the top of the 12th, all tied up, 1 apiece. So Dan Bolts starts the inning off. Of course, now he comes up as the left fielder. McChrystal still in for the Rebels. We are in the top of the 12th. That one outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. Bolt, O'Brien, and Doherty scheduled for the Bradley Braves. That one a little low, 2-0 the count. 3, 4, and 5 scheduled for the Rebels in the bottom of the 12th. And the 2-0, and that one is a big swing and a foul tip into the glove of Godman for a strike. The fans, of course, for the winning team will be happy. The losing team will be sad and just a little bit colder, 2-2 the count. As we started the game at, 53 degrees, and now we are at 51. So it hasn't dropped that much, but the wind has picked up a little bit until people are all bundled up here. And that one fouled straight back. The count remains 2-2. We're looking at a 2 hour and 15 minute game, but both teams only able to push across one, and now we are in the bottom, or the top of the 12th. That one is skied out. Gamble gets under it and puts it away for the first out of the inning.
Designated hitter, Connor O'Brien.
Connor O'Brien, the DH, will step up. He has 1 hit on the day, 1 for 4. Some good defense by both teams have helped keep this game at 1 apiece. O'Brien takes the first pitch and he swings, and that one is fouled and out of play into the stands. And the 0-1, and that one is fouled off, and that one hits the top of the net and bounces back as a ball boy comes out of the UNLV dugout and retrieves it and runs it on back. You would think both catchers would not be starting tomorrow with this game going extras. This one shot out. Williams makes a nice stab, turns around, and throws a little bit wide, and that pulls Wold off the bag. Oh, man. Williams made a great stab, but when he spun around, he could not control that throw over to Jack Thomas Wold, and that will be the first error of the game for the Rebels. Just kind of one of those tough errors because he made such a great play to get to the ball, but sometimes when you spin around, it just pulls your body, and that pulled that to the right. So let's see if McChrystal can pitch his way out of that. Brendan Doherty up for the Braves. He has the 1 RBI for them tonight. That was back in the 4th on a double. That one, boy, I'm not sure where that missed. I guess a little bit outside. So that is 1-1. Rice on deck. And the 1-1, instead of throw over to first, scrambling on back is O'Brien. So the Rebels have turned a couple double plays here, looking for another one to get to the bottom of the 12th, all tied up. Oh, a throw over to first again. And again, O'Brien back. There goes the runner, and this one is hit out to left field, and it is going deep. The wind carrying it, and back, and another great run down by Grant Robbins. I'll tell you what, Robbins and Gamble both converged there in a good play. And Robbins has been very impressive out there in left field on this young season. That got up in that jet stream, and I was thinking that might fall in there, but it hung up enough, and Robbins able to run it down. So 2 outs now. O'Brien was running on that pitch also and looked to have a pretty good jump. But he is back at first. Rice now, who walked his last at-bat. He is struck out twice and flied out to Grant Robbins. So 0 for 3 on the day. And that one, wow. Couple of the Bradley hitters are really getting some uppercut swings, trying to put one over the fence here at Early Wilson. And so far tonight, they've come up empty. If they connect on one of those with the wind, that could be trouble. 1-1. There goes O'Brien. Godman throws, and a good throw. It got him. What a tag by Stott on his helmet, I believe. Great play. And that will end the inning. Guess what, folks? We're going to the bottom of the 12th. Amazingly enough, we're tied up at 1. Live from Early Wilson. Jack Thomas Wold steps up. Guess what, everybody? It's the bottom of the 12th, all tied up, 1 apiece. Schrimmer still in for the Braves. And the first pitch, and that one high, 1-0 the count. As we're just a few minutes away from this game now being 3 hours old. This was on a great fast pace. Actually, a well-played game. Each team now does have 1 error, but still. A really good pace to this game. But we got some free baseball here on a Friday night. First game of a 3-game set. Both teams doing everything they can to win this first game, and that one outside 2-1 the count. So Wold, Williams, and Smith. If anybody can get on, Grant Robbins, who's 3 for 5 on the day. And the 2-1, and that one, did he hold up? Yes, he did. 3-1 the count. That was close. I'll tell you, that 3-1 pitch, I'm sure Wold just has a little zone, and if that pitch is not right there, you just take it, and it's either 3-2 or you're on first base. Well, that was a great pitch. Wold was very smart not to swing at that. That was one heck of a pitch by Schrimmer. So now it is a full count. And the 3-2 pitch, and Wold will take this one, and he'll deliver it out to right field, and Garon comes in a few steps, and it was on a rope. That is the second one on a rope for Jack Thomas, but each time the right fielder, different right fielder, last time it was Bolt who moved over to left. So good swings, but nothing to show for it on that one. So Williams will come in. He reached on an error in the 10th. He is 0 for 5 on the day, and he will take the first one, and he will try to put a swing on that would have put the Rebels on top 2-1 and won the game, but he comes up empty on a pitch kind of high and perhaps out of the strike zone. That's what you worry about. Sometimes You can't go for home runs. You just got to get on base. The 0-1 and that one a little bit higher still and out of the strike zone. 1-1 the count. Sometimes players will start swinging for the fences, and that's when these games can really go long because a lot of strikeouts, and just got to stay within yourself. And the 1-1 fouled off, 1-2 the count. Of course, if you connect on one, then we're all singing the other tune and happy that way, or sad, depending on which side you are voting for. I know we've got a lot of listeners and watchers from Illinois tonight. We appreciate you tuning in on a late night now in Illinois, 11 o'clock. That one misses. The count goes to 2-2 with Max Smith on deck. Two balls and two strikes to Williams, and that one will be fouled off. Good protecting the plate by Williams. And the 2-2, and that one is hammered off, and that will go foul and out of play. In fact, that went right into the baseball clubhouse there on the deck. We got a couple people watching from the porch, and they got a souvenir. I'm sure if you're a Rebel fan, you'd rather have the 335 Club have a souvenir because that's in fair territory down that right field line. And the 2-2 to Williams, and that one is a swinging strike out. So Max Smith steps in. He has a couple home runs on the year, and
right fielder, Max Smith.
Now with 2 outs and nobody on. What the heck. Max swing for the fences. He'll take the first one in there for a strike. Another good pitch. Boy, Schrimmer, when he gets that into a left-handed batter, gets it right in on the left-handed batter, down low in the strike zone. And the key is in. And the 0-1, and Smith will take this one, and he will send it out deep and foul, and that was a pretty good swing. 0-2 the count. Due up in the 13th will be 6, 7, and 8 for the Braves. Unless the Rebels can get some magic here. And the 0-2, and that one will be another base hit for Max Smith. That will be his 3rd single of the night. And bring up Grant Robbins, who is 3 for 5.
The left fielder, Grant Robbins.
So the Rebels in extra innings have been putting runners on. They've had in the 9th and extras a couple times, had the winning run down at 3rd base, but unable to cash in that runner. Rebels now have 10 hits on the night. The Braves have 5. Each has committed an error, and each has 1 run. What looked like a easy bullpen night is now perhaps getting a little bit farther. And there goes Smith, and he will easily make it as the throw is airballed. In fact, he's going to go to 3rd, which I don't think is a smart move, but you know what? He gets in there. Wow. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's a stolen base. He had that base stolen, and then an error allowing Smith to go to 3rd. Well, now with 2 outs, it does put extra pressure on Rice, but a good throw would have had Smith by a couple feet. But as I said, now with 2 outs, a little extra pressure on the defense of, oh wait, we're going to either have a meeting. Oh, here comes everybody. Now even the outfielder, the right fielder, goes over to center to meet. I have no idea what they would talk about. A little bit quicker to the mound this time is home plate umpire Ray Liebel. All right, so the count is 1-0. That was a ball when Smith stole second and then advanced to third on the error. So it is a 1-0 count. Paukoa on deck. There are 2 outs. But if Robbins walks or something like that, hit by pitch. And the 1-0 to Robbins, that one outside, 2-0 the count. Smith will be active down there at third in case the ball gets too far away from Rice. And the 2-0 to Robbins, and that one is chopped down to second. He goes over and makes a strong throw to first for the final out. Well, we'll go to lucky number 13, all tied up, 1 apiece. Keaton Rice will lead it off against the new Rebel pitcher. Connor Woods comes in. To say this game has been a pitcher's duel would be quite accurate, as we are tied at 1 apiece in the top of the 13th, and a big swing and a miss. So some of the hitters here in extra innings are going for the theory of 1 swing, 1 run. If anybody connects, that one is off the foot of Woods, and Stott able to get it. So I think that'll go, nope, okay. So it did not hit deflection, so that will just be a 6-3 put out. So that is the first out of the inning.
The right fielder, Jean-Francois Giron.
Giron steps in. He came in late in the game and is now in right field, moving Bolt over to left, and he tried to bunt, unable to, earlier in the game. He takes that one for a strike, so he is 0 for 1 on the day, and the next one in there for a strike, 0 and 2 the count. Nice pitch by Woods there. 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Rebels in the bottom of the 13th. Connor Woods trying to make sure it is still a tie ball game. That one way outside, 1 and 2 the count. Anderson on deck. And the 1-2, that one a called third strike. Ooh. Guerin showing a little bit of frustration there at the plate.
First baseman.
Nick Anderson steps in. He is 0 for 4 on the day. Hit into a double play back in the 10th. All the way back in the 10th. And the first one he swings, and that one will go foul. 0-1 the count. So Paukoa, Godman, and Gamble due up for the Rebels, scheduled in the bottom of the 13th. Where'd that one miss? I guess a little bit outside. 1-1 the count. Some people in the press box now just wanting this to be the longest game in Rebel history. We'll get the stats and figure out what that is, how many innings it is. Long way to go. And 2-1. And the 2-1 pitch, and that one is popped up. No, actually, wow. The wind carrying that one way back, but we'll just call it a little pop-up to center field there. For the third out. Go to the bottom 13th. Guess what? All tied up, 1 apiece. Ben Solano, the new pitcher for the Bradley Braves. Bottom of the 13th, he comes in. Ben does with a 3.38 ERA. He's pitched 2 2/3. Pahukoa, Godman, and Gamble scheduled for the Rebels. 1-1 here, bottom of the 13th. There's some Bradley parents, I'm sure, thinking they were going to get a nice long Friday night in Vegas. It's getting a little shorter. Kind of a little sidearm action. All the Bradley pitchers have quite different deliveries, which can be effective. And the 1-0, and that one just tickles the outside part of the plate for a strike. 1-1 to Pahukoa. Boy, that ball really carries if you can get it up into left center field. I really thought that last out of the top of the 13th was just a kind of a routine fly, and it just kept going and going and going in that jet stream. Gamble made a good catch. And the 2-1 to Duke, and that one misses by a mile, 3-1. Solano having a little bit of problems with control here. Let's see if the Rebels can take advantage of that. There's a left-hander up in the Bradley bullpen, just in case. And the 3-1, and that one misses, and that will be a leadoff walk for the Rebels.
The catcher, Jacob Godman.
Now, Godman did put down a sacrifice bunt back in the 11th. Let's see if he's called upon to do that again. It seems like a tough pitcher, perhaps, with that kind of slinging action to get a bunt down. Doherty in at third, guarding against the bunt. Let's see what the Rebels decide to do. I am going to predict that they will bunt here. That one misses, 1-0 the count. Godman was showing bunt right at the end. Now the other thing is, Pahukoa did walk on 5 pitches. Do you make pitcher? Nope, Godman. I'll tell you what, that is a very good bunt. Oh, wow, a good throw over and just getting Godman. But Jacob has proved that he can bunt with 2 good bunts in a row. Nice play by Jacob. James Gamble will be pinch hit for by Jason Sharman, number 35. Las Vegas out of Desert Oasis High School. So Gamble has the lone RBI, but they're looking for that lefty-righty or righty-lefty matchup.
Your attention, please. Batting for Gamble. Number 35, Jason Sharman.
So Sharman, if Sharman doesn't get on, you would think Stott would once again draw an intentional walk. But let's first see what Jason does here. Pahukoa on second, and that one 1-0. Well, you almost feel like you could just wait out Solano right now, and he seems to be having some problems with control. I would make him pitch a strike before I did anything, and he pitches in the strike as soon as I say that. So 1-1 the count to Sharman. Of course, now you can't let it get to 2 strikes, so. And the 1-1 to Sharman. And that is in there for a strike. Good pitch. Like I said, if Sharman cannot get on, I've got a feeling Stott will get walked for what would be the third in a row, though. And intentional, too. They just put out the 4 and he walks down. So now his walks are more than his hits. At one point tonight, it was 17 walks, 17 hits on the season. Now the walks are pulling ahead. And the 1-2 to Sharman, up and in. Wow. Almost hit him on the hands. He just got his hands back in time. So 2-2 the count. Two balls, 2 strikes to Sharman, and the 2-2 pitch, and that one is just low. The count goes full. Now, this would be interesting. If Sharman walks, would they walk the bases loaded? With a pitcher, of course, they do have action in the bullpen. If the bases were loaded, I can't imagine that he would stay in. Full count, and that one is in there for a called third strike. I think Sharman thought it was a little low. So Stott, I'm sure, will get the intentional pass for the third time in a row. And there you go. So the 4th walk of the night, the 3rd in a row, the 3rd time that he hasn't even had to get in the batter's box. Intentional in the 9th, intentional in the 11th, and an intentional now here in the 13th. So Dylan Johnson with another chance to be the hero here. You keep playing with fire. Rebels are hoping that that means you get burnt. Jack Thomas Wold on deck in case Johnson can induce a walk here. Let's see if he takes the first pitch. Solano does not look comfortable out there on the mound, and in fact now we might be getting a pitching change. Yeah, that will be a pitching change. We'll let you know the new pitcher when we come back. Tied up, bottom of the 13th. Rebels with a runner on. Theron Denlinger comes in. And he will face Dylan Johnson. Bryson Stott has been walked 3 times intentionally in extra innings. I'm sure Dylan Johnson would love to make him pay for it here in the bottom of the 13th. Paukoa at second with 2 outs, and the first one misses 1-0 the count. If he gets on by hit by pitch or a walk, Jack Thomas Wold would step in. Rebels have had base runners here in extra innings, unable to cash in so far. And the 1-0, and Johnson gets that one out to right field, but Garon gets it pretty much in his tracks. Guess what, everybody? We're going to the 14th, tied up 1 apiece, live from Early Wilson. So Sharman stays in at center field, and McMurray steps in for the Braves. He's 0 for 4 on the night. He shows bunt, and wow, kind of jumps into the plate, and it looked like it almost hit him, but he jumped in so much that was actually over the plate, and that is a strike. 0-1 the count. Connor Woods still in for the Rebels. And the 0-1, and that one in for a strike. 0-2 the count. As we now hit 9:30 here locally. And the 0-2, and that one is fouled off. The count will remain 0-2. Wind has been blowing out for the last 4 or 5 innings, and both teams unable to take advantage of it. That one just a little outside, 1-2 the count. The brave souls of the 335 Club, a few of them still out there. Two balls, 2 strikes to the number 9 hitter, McMurray, and the pitch, and this one is fouled off. The count remains 2-2. 3, 4, and 5 slots for the Rebels when we go to the bottom of the 14th. Connor Woods trying to keep it a tie ball game. The 2-2, and that one fouled off. And the 2-2, and that one in for a called third strike. Double-digit strikeouts for Rebel Pictures. 9 for Jabara, 2 for Kofer, 2 for McChrystal, and now 2 for Woods. So that'll turn the lineup again over. Luke Shedid steps in. He shows bunt, pulls it back, and that one somehow missed the strike zone. 1-0 the count. That one also misses the strike zone. 2-0 the count. And the 2-0. That one has popped up in fair territory. Jack Thomas Wold makes the catch just in fair territory. I think the wind probably helped push that into fair territory, so that is a second out of the inning. And we'll see how many times I can say fair territory in a row. Andy Shedid steps in. And the first pitch in for a strike. 0-1 the count. And the 0-1, and that one is hammered. Oh, a little bobble at third. Johnson will unable to recover, and that will be an error. And the second error of the night for the Rebels. So 2 infield errors for the Rebels.
Left fielder, Dan Bolt.
That was a hot shot, but it was right there. So Bolt will now step in. His second at-bat as the left fielder. Of course, he started in right. He does have a single in the fourth throw over to first, and oh, that was close. Not that big of a lead, but good move by Woods. And that will do it with a fly ball to left field. We go to the bottom of the 14th. 3, 4, and 5 scheduled for the Rebels. Ben Olson, the new pitcher for the Bradley Braves. Junior out of Des Moines, Iowa. And he will face Jack Thomas Wold, who will lead off the bottom of the 14th. Tied up, 1 apiece. And the first pitch, high and inside, 1-0 the count. And the 1-0 to Jack Thomas. That one will be fouled back. 1-1 the count. And the 1-1, and that one, ooh. Wold has to duck out of the way of that one, and the count goes to 2-1. Williams on deck. And Smith in the hole. The 2-1, and that one right down the pipe, 2-2 the count. And the 2-2 to Wold, and that one is fouled off. That one hung up there a little bit. Olson sets and delivers, and that one, oh boy, oh. I was about to say that one dropped in for a strike, but it is a ball, so it is a full count now. Something tells me Wold better be swinging on this if it's close. And the 3-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off to the left and out of play. Well, in extra innings, the Rebels have had chances galore, but the Braves have been able to pitch out of it every time. And that is a called third strike, and Wold throws his bat somewhat. Boy, they better watch out. That is a called third strike on Wold.
Second baseman, Darian Williams.
And Darian Williams will step in. And that one is chopped down, and that'll be through for a base hit by Shadid. And that one is a and it took a while, but that is now a 13-game hitting streak for Darian Williams. He was 0 for 6. And with that one, he extends that hitting streak. And now we get to the part of the lineup that has been very good for the Rebels. 6 hits between Smith and Robbins. And that one inside, 1-0 the count. Rebels have had runners in all over, and that one fouled straight back by Smith. The wind blowing right now straight out to center field. Williams looking, getting a lead, and gets chased on back by Olson, who throws over there. The lefty not showing much of a move there. He could be holding that up. And the 1-1, and that one is fouled off. The count will go to 1-2. If we go to the 15th inning, it'll be scheduled 4, 5, and 6 place hitters for the Braves. The 1-2, and that one is fisted foul. And the 1-2 to Smith, that one outside, 2-2 the count. And the 2-2 instead of throw over to check Williams, who easily gets back to first. And the 2-2 to Smith, and that one is a strikeout for the second out of the inning. Grant Robbins steps in.
Left fielder, Grant Robbins.
He has 3 hits on the night. And that one inside 1-0 the count. And the 1-0, and Robbins will take that for a strike. 1-1 the count. The outfielders playing pretty deep, trying to make sure that no ball gets behind them for a double. So if Robbins can dunk one in there, he'd at least get a single, and that he swings through. 1-2. So the Rebels down to their last strike here in the bottom of the 14th. And the 1-2, and that one is fisted out into right field. Well, actually, it'll go just to the second baseman in the wind, trying to take it out there. Guess what, everybody? We're going to the 15th. Tied up, 1 apiece, live from Early Wilson. Connor O'Brien comes in. He'll face new Rebel pitcher, Paul Ritchie. And that is strike one. And 0-2 the count. And the 0-2 and a big swing and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 15th.
Third baseman, Brendan Doherty.
So Doherty steps in as the only Brave to have an RBI on this night. The one Rebel to have an RBI. James Gamble is now out of the game as he got pulled for a pinch hitter. Jason Sharman, who has remained in center field for the last inning or so. That went in for a strike. Looking ahead for the Rebels in the bottom of the 15th, it'll be 7, 8, and 9. Pahukoa, Godman, and Sharman. Ritchie trying to keep it a tie ball game. And the 0-1 pitch, and that one pretty far outside, but a swing and a miss by Doherty. That's what you try to do in extra innings, make that aggressiveness that all these batters seem to have and make it work for you. And so far, it's been effective for both sides. And the 0-2, that one too far outside, and 1-2 the count. Rice, the catcher, on deck. Paul Ritchie, of course, the younger brother of former Rebels pitcher John Ritchie. Both out of Colorado, and that one is hammered but foul ball. The count will remain 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch, and that one is a swing and fouled into the Rebels dugout for the count to remain 1-2. Ritchie sets and delivers, and that one is fouled off to the left. 1-2 the count remains. And the 1-2, and that one fouled off to the right. And the 1-2 pitch, and that one is fouled off to the right. The count remains 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch, and that one is hammered out to right field. Back goes Smith, and that will get up against the wall, and that will be a triple. Doherty trying to go, and a strong throw, and that is in safe for a 1-out triple for Doherty and his fan club here right outside the press box. Well, let's see if the Rebels can do what the Braves have done and keep that runner on third base from scoring. Now, there is only 1 out Rice steps in. He's 0 for 4 on the day. Johnson playing in at third. And in fact, the whole infield is playing in. Trying to cut the runner down in case a ball is hit to them. And Richie sets and delivers that one. Misses outside. 1-0 the count. And the 1-0, and that one is hammered out to right field. Smith takes a few steps back, should be deep enough, and Doherty will, in fact, score the go-ahead run. It is now 2-1 Braves in the top of the 15th.
Jean-Francois Giron.
Giron steps in now with 2 outs and nobody on. The Braves now with 6 hits. I think that was their first hit in 7 innings. First hit for the Braves since the 6th inning, and now they lead 2-1. If the Rebels can't mount a comeback in the 15th, or at least tie it up, this will be one that, it's a tough loss. But they still have some at-bats. Richie trying to keep it right here, but the count now going to 3-1 with Anderson on deck. And that will be a walk. And Anderson will get an at-bat here.
First baseman, Nick Anderson.
So Nick Anderson, who went to Everett Community College up in Washington, out of Marysville, Washington, will step in. He's 0 for 5 on the night. And he hammers this one, and Stott gets it. So the Rebels will have their chance here to come back and tie or win in the bottom of the 15th inning. Matthew Ritchie, the new pitcher for the Braves, he comes in with a 1-run lead here at the bottom of the 15th. He'll face Duke Paukoa to start it off. 7, 8, and 9 scheduled for the Rebels. Paukoa's been on his last 2 times. He walked in the 13th and had a double back in the 11th. He'll take this one for a strike on 1 the count. And the 0-1, that one on the inside part of the plate, so the count quickly 0-2. The wind blowing out quite vigorously to left center field. And the 0-2 outside, 1-2 the count. Ritchie comes in. He has not surrendered a run yet this year. And that'll be a strikeout and the first out of the inning.
The catcher, Jacob Godman.
Jacob Godman, who the last 2 times he's been up, has been asked to sacrifice and done it very well. Will not be looking to sacrifice here as nobody is on. He will be looking to get on base any way that he can. And that one he takes low for a ball. 1-0 the count. And a big swing and a miss there. 1-1 the count. He was looking to get that up in that jet stream and tie this ball game up in the 15th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, and this one is a single to left field. So Jacob does get on. Rounds first, but then comes on back. So good bit of hitting for the freshman.
Center fielder, Jason Sharman.
Jason Sharman, who came in and replaced James Gamble. He struck out in the 13th looking. Stayed in center field. And Sharman will take the first one inside for a ball. 1-0 the count. Bryson Stott on deck, who has done nothing but walk here in extra innings on intentional passes the last 3 times he's been up. Sharman trying to... Ooh, that one outside. 2-0. Now, if he could somehow walk here, with a 1-run lead, I would think they'd pitch to Stott, even though they might be going for a double play or forcing a base, but that is in for a strike, so we are a long way away from a walk happening here. Ritchie has only walked 1 in 4 2/3 inning previous to coming in. Godman over at first, and that one low, so the count is now 3-1. And this one is out to center field, and no, he does not make the catch up against the wall. Here comes Godman. Sharman to third, and guess what? We've got a tie ball game here in the 15th inning. Wow. He got it up in that jet stream, and it just kept going back and back. And Shadid, for once, could not bring it down as he got it deep to the left center field, and I think going against that wall. And now the Rebels once again have the winning run at third base with Bryson Stott coming up. Let's see if he'll get another walk. And just like that, Bryson Stott gets his 4th intentional walk in a row and his 5th walk of the game.
Third baseman, Dylan Johnson.
So Dylan Johnson now, 1 for 7 on the day. The Rebels could take the win tonight if Johnson can just get it deep enough in the outfield, but it looks like we may have a pitching change. But hold on here, maybe it's just a talk. I don't see anybody warm in the Bradley bullpen. Oh no, there is somebody. He was behind a pole. I couldn't see him. Somebody tells me that's going to be funny for the rest of the year every time I hear that. Peanuts teachers talking. All right, so no pitching change. Ritchie's still out on the mound. Now this is Matthew Ritchie. Paul Ritchie right now, the pitcher of record. He would be in line for the win if the Rebels could score here. So Johnson does not need a hit. Let's see now Stott all of a sudden. That base runner means a lot over there, and he'll take the first one and foul it straight back. 0-1 the count. So no runs scored for what seemed like inning after inning. In fact, since the 5th inning. And now here in the 15th, each team has scored one, but the Rebels now with 2 on and 1 out. Dylan Johnson up, and he swings and misses quickly. The count is 0-2. The 0-2, and that one fouled straight back. Just missed that one. Jack Thomas Wold on deck if it comes to that. Bryson Stott being held at first. That is important because the Braves would like to... Ooh, that one inside. 1-2. Sharman at third, aware in case there's a wild pitch or a pass ball. And this one chopped, and that should do it. The Rebels come back and win in the 15th inning after falling behind. What a Friday night game. Rebels win by the score of 3-2 in 15 innings. 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Braves. 3 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors in the win for the Rebels. Until tomorrow at 2:05, bye-bye.